I know. If you like me, you just cannot get enough of this scenery. Hey, I'm Chit. Welcome to Vybeology, and I'm here in Isla Mujeres, Mexico. It is definitely a vibe. Today we're going to be talking about travel, solo travel for women, do's and don'ts, and just how to have a good time. No matter what's going on around you, you are the vibe, and you create your reality based on your vibes. Enjoy the vibes. Let's get more of this scenery because I can't get enough. Fabulous vibe on the North Beach. Just chill, relax, taking in that beautiful water, which was really like a spa, just God's spa. I mean, the salt water was so therapeutic on my skin, and I just really had a fabulous time. The people there were so inviting and so eager to help and just make sure that you enjoy the vibes, which is what Vybeology is all about. So now this beautiful scenery is at my hotel, which is the Isla Hotel at the south end of the island, the opposite end of that beautiful beach, which is called the Norte Beach. I picked this spot because it's very quiet, as you can see, and it's very serene. And at night, the stars just light up. So today, we really want to talk about our vibes and what it is to be on vacation and what type of vibes should you have when you're on vacation. So I take with me as I travel this beautiful book called The Super Beings, because I truly believe that I can create my own reality by my thoughts, my frequency, and just being aware of self and your surroundings and how you fit into those surroundings. What are you contributing? What are you taking away every time you go anywhere in the world, especially on vacation? You want to take the vibes that match the scenery. You can't come here mad and all upset thinking about things that's going on back home. Does that match? No, it does not match this scenery. So let's get into this. I opened up this book called The Super Beings. Just wanted to see what page it fell on. And it fell on something that was so poignant to this moment right now as I travel through Mexico. I began in Tulum and I end up in Isla Mujeres. It says, you must understand and recognize that there is a universal law of cause and effect. It's operating through you. It's called the law of attraction, the law of correspondence, and the law of consciousness. They are all the same. The law is actually a creative force within you, within me, and it is of God substance. The light of spirit, a power that is constantly and forever flowing through you, picking up a particular vibration in visible form, experience, and circumstance. The power is completely impersonal, and when it flows through your newly developed energy field of success, it has no choice but to manifest your true place for this point in your life. It does not make a difference how you... This is so profound to me. It does not make a difference how badly you have failed in the past or how many mistakes you have made. It only knows to create according to your now consciousness. But if it flows through a mental atmosphere clouded with ideas of disappointment, resentment, or underachievement, it must, by nature, arrange and correspond those situations in your life. That's frequency, baby. That's Vybeology. The universe has no choice but to conspire on how you are vibrating. That's pretty profound. So that's why you can't escape a situation. The situation is you. No matter if you want to believe it or not, good or bad, whatever's happening, you have some say in that. You have some buy-in in that situation. It's based on your frequency, and frequency is everything. And I truly believe once we realize that frequency is everything, that I can control what's happening around me based on how I'm feeling, based on how I'm thinking, I think we've cracked the code to the universe. Everything changes. That's Vybeology. We'll be talking about all things frequency, no matter what's going on, and how you can be in control of that. To myself. Alright, so I'm here in Isla Mujeres for the very first time. I've been to Mexico a couple of times, Tulum in particular. It's one of my favorite places. And I think I'm drawn to this area. I should say I know that I'm drawn to the area of Tulum, Mexico, Cancun in particular, because of my grandmother. Her name was Luella, and her father was from Monterrey, Mexico. And on this trip, you know, I carry a certain vibe. I feel a certain pride, like a belonging here in Mexico, because I do believe in epigenetics. And a great source for epigenetics is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He explains that very well, and I'll leave a link to him in this particular show, because I really like to share where I'm getting my information from, and so you can feel the vibes that I'm coming from, right? So my grandmother, Luella, her father was from Monterrey, Mexico. And when I go to that particular part of Mexico, I'm looking at all the women and all the men around, and they have the same features as my grandmother. And I found out that these features are really particular to Mayan people. And my grandmother was definitely of the Maya heritage. She was this 4'11", maybe 4'8", little beautiful human being, and she had a little petite body and no neck and short little arms. And it's when I am in Tulum and I look around and I see so many people who have those same traits, and I just feel a sense of pride, and I feel like I am at home. And eventually I will buy a condo in Tulum so that I can rent out and come and visit as much as I like, because I do believe that the vibes in Tulum matches my vibes, right? So this time I ventured out and I got to speak to some locals, and I talked to this really profound man who was from Mexico. And he gave me some background on Monterrey, Mexico, how it was colonized by some of the French, how Topo Chico, which is one of the natural carbonated springs, is from Monterrey, Mexico. And we just had a great conversation about the history of Mexico, the people of Mexico, where the African people of Mexico actually come from. He says we're from around the area of Chihuahua. And it just made me want to explore Mexico. So I can't wait to come back and get some more vibes of, I want to visit places like Mexico City. I'd love to go to Monterrey, Mexico. And see more of these beautiful pyramids all over Mexico. There's a ton of pyramids that I just feel like I don't have enough information on, and I'm sure I need to research more and discover more of these pyramids, because definitely I want to feel the vibes that are surrounding those pyramids. And just thinking about this time as I'm traveling, the passage in this book that I read earlier, it ended with this: as within, so without. As man thinketh in his heart, so he is. You are what you think. And I truly believe that. This scenery, being here, is all I've been thinking about, is this chill, relaxed, no worries kind of a vibe that I feel like I do my best creating in, I thrive in. I'm pushing along my businesses when I come and I'm around these types of vibes. And I realize that I'm the creator of these vibes. So no matter where I am, I can feel like this. I don't have to see this beautiful scenery, although I prefer to see it. But knowing that I can just close my eyes, take a deep breath, find my center, and visualize what I want to be my reality. And lo and behold, the universe will respond. All we have to do is be be what you want to be. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And that's what I learned on this trip to Mexico. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my little trip, and I hope you can learn some things. So right now we're going to talk about a couple of do's and a couple of don'ts. All right? So as a solo traveler, you really want to plan in advance, right? Where you're going to stay, the transfers to and from. Make sure you understand the local time change from home. All these things are necessary for smooth travel, so you can make sure the vibes are how you expect and want them to be, right? Although you may run into a few hiccups, right? And I did on this trip. So here we go. Here's a couple of do's. So do make sure you have the local currency in cash. In case you run into things like paying for taxis, they like to be paid in cash. Maybe local restaurants, buying little things like the crystals that I bought. I also bought some handmade purses, this hat. All of these things would require you to have cash and not credit cards, right? And also know that your bank will charge you an extra international fee if you decide to use those credit cards. So be prepared for that. Also, a do is do understand the weather at the time that you're visiting the place. And I say that because I ran into an issue here in Tulum. Take a look at this. Right. This is an overgrown algae bloom. The locals said it's the worst they've ever seen. This all began in the summer of 2015, and it said the algae comes from the coast of Brazil, and it's due to global warming. We have so much work to do as humanity on this planet. This was the beach in February of 2021 when I came to Tulum for the first time to celebrate my birthday. It was a beautiful solo trip. I had no idea that in June this occurs, and it all started, according to the locals, around 2014, 2015, right? This is coming from Brazil, according to the locals. This is all new to me. This is an overgrown algae bloom that literally turned those pristine beaches into a chocolate milk looking substance. I literally cried and broke out in a hive, and I could not stay on the beach in Tulum. I did manage to get my money back from a hotel who said there was no cancellations. I canceled 2 days in before because I happened to come to the beach. Before that stay, I stayed in the city, and I happened to come to the beach just to see the beach before we got into our hotel. And luckily I did, because I wouldn't have been able to stay there. It was literally a stench like no other, a sea stench, right? Because the seaweed had taken over the beach. That was a big do, right? Do know the weather when you're coming to visit. So I learned that best time to come to Tulum or Isla Mujeres is November, December, January, February. And lucky for me, that's winter in New York City. So I am gladly willing to leave New York City to come to paradise and enjoy the beautiful vibes in Mexico. So I learned my lesson there, right? So that was a do-don't kind of thing, right? Don't come without checking the weather, right? All right, also, let's move into the don'ts. Don't expect things to be like it is at your house or whatever town you live in. No, you're in a whole nother country. Things will be drastically different depending on where you're going. Now, I'm from LA, so I'm familiar with a lot of Mexican culture, a lot of Mexican food. I love things to be muy caliente, all the spices, all the delicious food. I enjoy that. But if you're not into that, right, don't expect things to be like how it is at your house. So you need to choose and pick the things that you like to do wisely. So for instance, if you know that you don't like mosquitoes, please make sure to bring whatever mosquito repellent that you can get your hand on. I would recommend getting whatever they have at the local store, because the locals know how to keep mosquitoes from biting them. And that's exactly what I did. It was an organic store in Tulum where I was able to get a local mosquito repellent that was all organic, made from eucalyptus and peppermint and tea tree oil, and it smelled so good. And when I tell you it worked, I was in the jungle of Tulum, right? Walking through the jungle, and I did not get not one mosquito bite. All right, so that is a do, and that's also a don't. Don't expect it to be like your house, because it's not. All right, another don't is, I don't really have too many don'ts. That's another thing, right? My vibes are so positive that I don't really vibrate on the don'ts. I just kind of go with the flow. So I recommend doing that. Go with the flow. And whatever comes your way, like that hotel and the overgrown algae, I paid. I managed to get my money back because they understood. I also had to pay for another hotel. So be prepared for things like that, right? Come with extra cash, especially if you're going international. You never know what might happen, an emergency. So you need to have a reserve of cash that you can get to, a credit card for an emergency or something like that, because you don't want to be calling back to your town talking about, can you Western Union me some money? That's a don't. That's a big don't, okay? All right, so be prepared for all things emergency so that you can make sure the vibes on your vacation is exactly how you want them to be. I appreciate you joining me today. I'm Chit. Thank you. And look forward to seeing you again on Vybeology. All right, so thank you for joining me today. Again, I'm Chit, and this is Vybeology. It's stuck on something. God damn it. My phone is stuck. And I got some shit in my eye. I made it. Woo, I'm exhausted. I don't know how I'm gonna get back. I made it. I'm not going in the cave though. I'll pass. Yeah. paradise for real.